Happy Saturday, everybody. This is Bobby and Emmy with Madness Labs. And this week, you voted.
And we listened. And baby, what time is it?
It's time to build a watch face.
We are going to be making a Fitbit watch. It was actually inspired by her. She is an avid Fitbit fan. She's got the Ionic watch, and she had requested some custom features from a Fitbit watch. And so we threw it out to you guys because we wanted an interesting idea for this week's video. And you guys selected to build a Fitbit watch face, which was a super fun project for us. So we're here to kind of show you today our findings, and I'm going to hide my mini desktop icons. Okay, so first off, you're going to start on this page here. This is the dev.fitbit.com, the getting started page. Link, where's it at, baby?
In the description.
It's in the description. And that will get you started. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sign up for an account. So if you don't already have a Fitbit account currently, you're going to have to sign up and create one with an email address, and then you're going to download the OS simulator. So you can run it on a device, but the simulator makes it very easy to go about testing your watch faces and getting things going. So go ahead and download that guy and install it, and it will have you log in, and it will look something, it will look something like this. So here you can see is our Fitbit watch simulator. And we've already got one watch face that we've been working on, so I'll go ahead and load it up here, called Madness Time. And you can see here it's a simple watch face with kind of like a circular design, and then we've got a custom background and an icon, a battery icon with the amount of battery left at the top left. And so you can see here it kind of like lets you emulate the entire thing. You see we've got a nice little fade effect there on our watch whenever we tap on the screen. So this is going to help you kind of iterate live, which is super cool. And then what's really neat is we're actually going to be outside of VS Code this week in this video because they have something called Fitbit Studio. So after you get your account and you basically spin up your simulator, you can now go into Fitbit Studio. So with that account that you created, you'll open up your Fitbit Studio, as I've done here. And you can see your projects, or you can add a new project. I think the first time you come in, it'll have you create a new project. And that will look something like this. And from here, you can start with a digital clock, or they have like a starter clock, I think an analog clock. And so you can start with a different template or a blank one. And what I would say for you guys, if you're starting out, it might be good to just start with a digital clock, see how it all kind of works. But another option you can do, and this is what we did, was you can start with an empty project. So I'll do that here, Madness Test. And so I've got an empty project here, and you can see your file pane is on the left and your editor is on the right here. So we're going to basically be building and running everything from directly in our browser. So we're going to build everything over here on the right, and then we're going to basically run it, and we'll see it on the left in our simulator. So I'm going to give us a little room here. And a cool thing that you can do is there is this awesome repo, and I will put a link in the description. And this is for Fitbit OSS apps. And so what these are a list of open source clock faces and other apps. So you can see here, there's a list of clock faces here, and all of these are open source. So you can go into one of these projects. For instance, you can see here, my original watch face, the one that I was plugging on yesterday as we were getting ready for this video, it's based off of Arcular. So it's this open source design. And what you can do is you can actually just click clone or clone or download button at the top right of GitHub. You can download a zip of it. And then what you can do is you can just open that guy up and select all the files underneath it. And then you can just drag those into the file pane over here inside of Fitbit. And I will need to extract this first. So I'm going to extract this to like my downloads here, and then we're going to just copy this guy out, and you'll see I can drag and drop this into the file pane, and now it's going to drag all that stuff over and upload it into Fitbit Studio. And now I can go ahead and select a device up here at the top, and then you should be able to see devices Ionic Simulator. And that's going to let me connect to this simulator over here. And now I can click the run button as soon as I get my project set up here. Let's see, what does it say? Okay, so Ionic Simulator, we've got that selected. Let's run a build and just see if we're building here. Okay, build complete. It might be because I've got this one currently running. So let me... There we go. Okay, so now you can see I've got Ionic Simulator selected here, and I'm going to click Run, and now it's going to build my watch face and deploy it over here. So, all right, so you can see we've got our watch face over here on the left, and over here on the right, let's kind of go through the project structure. So you can see there's an app directory, and this kind of includes our index file. So this is like the main file that gets loaded by the watch face whenever we launch. And then we've got a common directory. So these are just basically imports, places where they store like common files and things like that they need. Then there is the companion folder. So basically each Fitbit watch face lets you run a companion app that runs inside of the Fitbit app on your device. So for instance, if you wanted to maybe hit an API or hit something to grab information for your watch face, like maybe the weather data or something like that, you would make a companion app that would go about running the fetch queries and stuff like that, and then passing via a messaging event, passing all of that data. And you can actually kind of see it here. Basically, whenever something happens, you can message via this messaging socket, and you can send that data to the watch face, and then you can pick up on that and take some kind of an action. And you can actually see that in action here. If we go into our package, where is our, I'm not prepared. Yeah, so you can actually see that with the settings on this particular watch face. Okay, so then we've got a resources directory, and this is where the index.gui, and you can see this index.gui, this is the watch face. So, and you can see this looks very familiar, because this is XML. So standard SVG, so if you've ever done any work with like SVGs or SVG or XML, something like that, or even just custom elements in HTML, this should be pretty familiar to you. And then there's a style.css where you can see they've got some basic styles that style up that SVG like XML, and it's a very limited version. So you can see here, it's not like we're doing things in pixels or anything like that. It's very, again, very limited to what you can do, but that's kind of how it works. Then there's a styles 300 by 300, and this is to support the Fitbit Versa, the older version of the watch. And then we've got the widgets.gui, and usually this is what this one looks like. I'm not quite sure what this one is for, but if anybody knows, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Then we've got screenshots, so you can take screenshots of your your watch face when you put it up on the market. Then you've got the settings, and in this case, it's this is the way that the user can set their settings in the companion app, or in the settings for the watch. Sorry. And then of course just some licensing, README, package.json. Your package.json, when you click on it, it'll open up this guy, and this lets you kind of edit the permissions for your application, what version of the SDK you're using, and then kind of the targeted devices and stuff like that. So that's the general structure. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in, and let's create some, I'm going to duplicate this guy. Let's go ahead and create some functionality here. Let's go ahead and create that battery bar that I did in the other watch face that we have here. So to do that, let's go ahead and up here in our app, let's go ahead and give me 1 second here. So in our app, let's go ahead and create a new file here, and we're going to create a file that's going to allow us to see the battery information. So we're going to create a blank file here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to copy over some code here that we've got from another file. And again, this is what's great about having a bunch of open source watch faces. You can copy a lot of these files and a lot of this functionality out here so that you don't have to write the whole thing yourself. So this right here is all we need to get a battery icon on the screen. So So this will give us the functionality. Now we need to kind of wire that functionality up. So in our index.js, we will go about importing the battery indicator that we just made. So you can see we're importing that. And this is standard ES6 stuff here. We're just importing the class that we exported from the other file. Then we want to initialize that. So, so if we go down a little further, you can see there's this init that initializes our watch face. Then we have a clock.onTick. So this happens every time the watch, every second, the watch face updates. Then we have the on message. So that's that on message that I was talking about, where we have something happening in the settings or the companion app, and then we're receiving that information. And then this render, this is what fires inside of the on tick. That's what renders the watch face every second. And you can see here, this is where our arcs for hours, minutes, and seconds, that's where this stuff right here is kind of being rendered and where the magic is happening here. So cool. So let's go ahead and let's initialize our battery indicator. And all we have to do that is down here in our init function, we will go ahead and say let battery indicator equal new battery indicator, and we pass in the document. And document here is just like in the browser. It's like it's the current window, basically the current watch face that we're working on. So cool. So now we've initialized our battery indicator. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's leave it at that for right this second. Let's just try to render that guy. Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing. So in our render function down here, we need to actually have this battery indicator.draw, which you can see battery indicator.draw is going to actually put the battery amount on there. So you can see it gets the battery.charge level, then it sets the battery element to the level of the battery, and then it sets the width equal to the battery level. So this is what's going to basically make the battery level icon. So if we go ahead and, since we've got this set up here, if we go and click run again, it will build a new version and it will ship it over to our watch face here. And oh, there's our companion app. There we can see it. And you can see we've got nothing. We've got a blank screen. And then what's neat is you can see here they've got a built-in console. So I can see here cannot read property width of null. And if you're running into some kind of error like that, you can see it gives you little hints as to where these errors are. So you can see it's app battery level on 11. It can't get bat body width. Well, bat body is an element with an ID of bat body. Well, if you look at my index.gui, you can see I don't have anything there. And that's because I need the actual SVG stuff that I need in order to render that battery icon on the screen. So I'm going to copy that little lump here. Now I've got my bat bod. So now we've got our bat. And so this is, again, just an SVG. And this battery indicator is going to basically select all of these selectors here you can see. We're just going to be selecting those elements, and then we're going to be filling the text and kind of messing with them a little bit. I will need one more thing though. I will need to set the styles on that bat icon. So here's all of our styles for our battery. So copy. And again, this watch face is going to be open source. So we're going to open source this watch face Madness Time. We will open source it and put it on GitHub with a link in the description.
A link in the description.
So there we go. So now we've got all of our styles for the battery. We've got our SVG for the battery, and then we've got a function that's going to fill the battery level in to that guy. So now if we click run, we should get a battery indicator on our screen. We do indeed. It is black at the moment, I believe. So we could go into our styles maybe, and we could tweak this guy. Like maybe instead of black, we want, well, 5, 6. That's fine. We'll do black. That's fine. So we want to fill the battery with white. So let's go and run that. And you see, I just made a simple style change, and then boom, there's our battery level. Yeah, I mean, so there's adding a quick battery level. Let's go and make a couple more changes. I'm going to change that back to black. I'm going to change the background to like Let's change it to a white color. And then let's go ahead and change our, where's our companion app? Let's change our clock red. And then we'll change our font. Where's our font color? Our font color isn't set here. Oh, there it is, fill it white. So let's fill this with, let's just go black in this case. Okay, so now we've got black battery indicator, black text in the middle. We've got a white background, and we can set the color with our companion thing over here. That's pretty cool. And now you can see we've got the little battery. We can see the battery indicator there. Now we probably want to take the fill and make this like white so that we can actually see the difference between the background and the foreground. There we go. So now we've got a neat little, and let's take a little step further. Let's make that the same color as, the actual companion, like what we set on the actual watch face itself. So let's go. All right, guys, we are back. A short little reprieve. We took a second to debug here the battery indicator, and so we'll just walk through this real quick. But basically, you can see now we've got the battery indicator at the top left, and we are able to actually set our theme color, and you can see the battery icon fluid here change. And so this file is really, really simple. So we are importing battery, and this is coming from the device API in the Fitbit SDK. So you can check this out. This is all of the things that we have access to, and the link is
in the description.
So, so feel free to jump on over to their documentation. But you can see that battery is one of the things that we get access to. Where's it at in here? It's somewhere in here. Device. So we get access to all of these different things inside of our Fitbit SDK here. So we're pulling in the battery from the power portion, and basically we are exporting a variable called battery indicator. That's what we're importing on our index. Then we're selecting all of those different elements of the SVG. And then basically we are just, when we draw the battery, we set the text of the battery level over here to the level of the battery. And what you can see here is just battery.charge level. And then we basically use a little bit of math to figure out there is a fill, a rectangle here, and we figure out which, how much of that rectangle needs to be, or how wide that rectangle needs to be based on the percentage that's left in the battery. And then we added a little extra bonus of being able to set the fill color via the theme. So you can see here in the companion app, I can set the color, and my battery changes as well. So there you guys have it. We've got a working watch face, which we will put up on GitHub so you guys can pull it down and play with it for yourself. And at this point, it's time for upload.
Follow us on Twitter at Madness Labs, and please like, share, and subscribe if you liked this video.
Thanks for watching, and as always, we will see you guys next Saturday. And as Em said, you should follow us so that you can join in on the next poll, and maybe you'll get your name in one of our videos. And we want to see your guys' watch faces, so make sure you share that to us
yours.
at Madness Labs. Guys, see you next week.